Sir, please, Pendleton pleaded. Your stomach acid could melt through a destroyer's hull. Those antacids are going to give you permanent chalk brain. I don't care, Bilgewater shrieked. I wish I were sick. I wish I were incapacitated. Then someone else would have to deal with the impending doom. Then, speaking of doom, sir, Pendleton whispered, checking his watch. I just got a telegram from my cousin at High Command. Admiral Gravelgood Sterling is arriving today on a sneak inspection. The antacid bottle slipped from Bilgewater's hand, thumping onto the rug. Admiral Sterling was a man who ate discipline for breakfast and shat court-martials by noon. He was famous for checking the dust levels on the underside of tropical leaves. Bilgewater's eyes suddenly took on a predatory gleam. Wait. If I were sick, truly, medically, horribly sick, I could appoint an acting base commander. Someone to stand in the line of fire. Someone who can take the blame when Sterling sees the state of this place. But who would be foolish enough, sir? Bilgewater grinned, a sight that was truly terrifying. Not a fool, Pendleton, a scapegoat. Call for Commander Maximilian, Mad Dog Mallory, and his band of piratical misfits. If Mallory is in charge, when the Admiral arrives, the resulting explosion will be so large, it'll be visible from space. And better yet, Mallory will be the one facing the firing squad. Chapter E. The Rogues of Revelry. 5 miles away, at a hidden cove known as the Kraken's Rest, Commander Max Mallory was currently officiating a turtle race. Mallory was the kind of man who wore a naval uniform as if it were a suggestion rather than a requirement. His hat was perpetually tilted at an angle that defied gravity, and he possessed a smile that could convince a shark to become a vegetarian. "Come on, Speedy," shouted Chuck. The Chimney O'Malley, a sailor whose main contribution to the war effort was his ability to smoke 3 cigars simultaneously. 20 pesos on the turtle with the chipped shell. "Gentlemen, please." Mallory laughed, leaning against a crate of what was definitely not authorized bourbon. "Let's keep it professional. We are the defenders of democracy, even if our primary defense strategy is being too hungover to be found by the enemy." The festivities were interrupted by the arrival of a frantic messenger. Commodore Bilgewater wanted Mallory at HQ immediately. "The old man sounds desperate," the messenger panted. "He's talking about garter belts and naval glory." Mallory sighed, adjusting his belt. "Well, boys, duty calls. Or at least, Bilgewater is screaming again. Keep the turtles on ice. I'll be back before the tide turns." Chapter A. The Great Payroll Disappearance. While Bilgewater was busy faking a terminal case of tropical gout to avoid Admiral Sterling, a much larger problem was brewing. A shipment of $42,365, the entire monthly payroll for the sector, had vanished. The money had been transported in a heavy iron-bound chest, escorted by a detachment of guards who claimed they had been distracted by a very large and mysterious bird. In reality, they had been lured into a game of high-stakes poker by a local entrepreneur named Mikel the Magician, a man who could steal the socks off your feet without you ever unlacing your shoes. When Mallory arrived at the base, he found Bilgewater wrapped in 3 blankets, sitting in a wheelchair, smelling faintly of camphor and deceit. "Mallory," Bilgewater wheezed, putting on a performance that would have won an Oscar if the Academy allowed entries from insane naval officers. "I am dying. The doctors say it's, spontaneous oceanic combustion. I have hours, maybe minutes." "You look remarkably purple, sir," Mallory noted dryly. "Shut up. As of this moment, you are the acting base commander. Admiral Sterling is arriving in 2 hours. You are to greet him. You are to show him the base. You are to take full responsibility for the backed-up sinks, the garter belt shortage, and—" His voice dropped to a terrified squeak. "The missing payroll. Temo vale, sum noin, where sixi tot, terrified. Temo vale, sixi tot, temo vale, sixi tot, pale, sum noin, tot vale, sixi tot, pale." Mallory's eyebrows shot up. "Missing payroll? Sir, that's a hanging offense." "Exactly." Bilgewater cackled, then remembered he was dying and returned to a wheeze. I mean, oh, the tragedy. Now go. Be a hero. Or a target. I don't care which. Chapter Eve. The Admiral arrives. Admiral Sterling did not arrive by boat. He arrived by sheer force of will, appearing on the docks like a vengeful deity carved out of granite. His uniform was so stiff it could have stood up on its own, and his mustache looked like it was made of barbed wire. "Where is Bilgewater?" Sterling roared, the sound echoing off the hills. Mallory stepped forward, saluting with a flair that made Sterling's eye twitch. "Commander Maximilian Mallory. At your service, Admiral. Commodore Bilgewater is currently indisposed with a very rare and highly contagious case of purple tropical fever. I have been appointed acting commander." Sterling squinted at Mallory. "You look like a pirate. Why are you wearing a flower in your lapel?" "It's a local tradition, sir, to ward off the evil spirits of inefficient bureaucracy." Sterling grunted. "Show me the payroll office. I want to see the books. If a single cent is missing, I'll have someone's head on a pike." "Sovio, lesikuta. Sovio, aikuta. Someone's head on a pike. Sovio." Mallory felt a bead of sweat trickle down his neck. "The payroll, sir." "Ah, yes. It's currently being processed in the high security vault, which is currently undergoing a deep cleaning. Very sensitive to dust, you know." Chapter V. The Pursuit of Mikhail. Mallory knew he had exactly 60 minutes before Sterling realized the vault was actually a broom closet. He gathered his crew. "All right, listen up," Mallory hissed. "Mikhail has the money. He's hiding out in the old Spanish fort on the North Ridge. We need that chest, and we need it now, or we're all going to be spending the rest of the war breaking rocks in a penal colony." "But the fort is guarded by Mikhail's gang," Chuck argued. "And they've got that old ornamental cannon." "That cannon hasn't fired since 1812, Mallory said. "We move in fast. We grab the chest. We get out. Use the diversion." The diversion consisted of a crate of stolen firecrackers and a very confused goat. The battle for the Spanish fort was less of a military engagement and more of a slapstick routine. Mallory's men surged up the hill while firecrackers exploded in every direction. Mikhail, panicked and clutching the payroll chest, realized he was cornered. "You'll never take me alive," Mikhail shouted, dragging the heavy chest toward the ancient cannon. "Mikhail, don't be a fool," Mallory yelled, running across the courtyard. "That cannon is a relic, in a feat of desperate genius." Mikhail realized the chest was too heavy to carry. He opened the lid, seeing the stacks of 20s and 50s. He began stuffing the bills into the mouth of the cannon, using a silk scarf as a wad. "If I can't have it, nobody can," Mikhail screamed, lighting a match. "No." Mallory lunged. Chapter V. Manna from Heaven. Back at the base, Admiral Sterling was losing patience. He had forced his way into the vault only to find a mop and a bucket. He was currently marching toward Bilgewater's office to personally arrest the Commodore, gout or no gout. Bilgewater, seeing the Admiral through his window, panicked and jumped out of his wheelchair, running around the room in his pajamas. "I'm too young for prison. I'm too pretty." Suddenly, a massive thump echoed across the archipelago. Everyone stopped. Sterling, Bilgewater, and the entire base staff looked toward the North Ridge. A moment later, the sky began to rain. It wasn't rain. It was green. It was rectangular. "What is this?" Sterling shouted, catching a piece of paper as it fluttered down. "A 20? A 50? It's the payroll." Thousands of bills drifted through the air like autumn leaves, caught in a lucky thermal vent that carried them directly over the naval base. Mallory and his men came sprinting into the courtyard, breathless and covered in gunpowder soot. "There's your money, Admiral," Mallory shouted, pointing at the sky. "We decided to, distribute it via airdrop to ensure maximum transparency." Sterling looked at the money, then at Mallory, then at Bilgewater, who was currently standing on his desk trying to catch a $100 bill in his mouth. "Mallory," Sterling said, his voice strangely calm. "Did you just fire the entire naval payroll out of a 19th century cannon?" "Technically, sir," Mallory replied.